Thanks so much for joining us.
Great to be here. Thank you.
So I'm a little bit self-conscious as a reporter here. I don't know where to start. What were your main takeaways from this debate?
Yeah, I'm kind of where you are because I don't think, for those who are watching the debate because they want to learn more about the candidates, or those who are kind of political insiders or whoever, I don't think we've ever seen a debate like this in a number of ways. You know, most debates are scored and analyzed on style and substance. So we could talk about style and substance. But you start off with two candidates who obviously don't like each other. They really dislike each other. We heard that come through during parts of the campaign. No traditional handshake at the beginning and the end of the debate. They walked up, they said their stuff, and that was it. Throughout this debate, I don't know that there were a lot of fireworks. There were some stupid moments like, what's your handicap in the golf course and I can carry my own bag. But on the style and substance part of this debate, on the substance side, we'll talk about the President Biden's efforts to try and talk about his record, but where he stumbled. On the Trump side, he threw all sorts of stuff out there, and the question there is what's fact checks, what's true, what claims did he make? Substance. There was probably enough substance in this debate for people who were looking for something. Not a lot, but something. You have to have it. On the style side, though, you have President Trump, who just has this dour look the entire debate. President Biden, who stumbled over many, many of his words and had kind of that blank look. And granted, he had a cold and all this stuff, but other than that, there just wasn't much else in this debate to score on after that.
So I kind of want to, hot takes have been flying across the internet, for, at this point, days now. I want to start with a little bit of nuance, I think, because you have yourself run campaigns, you have helped candidates prepare for this. And I understand there were perhaps two different expectations. Trump had his playbook of what he needed to do in that debate. Biden had his playbook. What would have kind of gone into that preparation? How do you think those candidates would have prepared? I know Biden had camped out at Camp David to prepare for this.
I think you start with the do no harm phrase. You don't want your candidate losing their cool. You don't want them saying something completely wrong. You don't want them, that old thing of George Bush looking at his watch, like, when can I get out of here? It's those little things in the style side of it, because sometimes that's what people remember. That's what they saw. So as you brief candidates and work with them, you want to make sure they don't do things like look at their watch, look around, have blank stares, pull it. As silly as that sounds, that is part of the style side. From the substance side, that's really the challenge, because not only are you asking your candidate to deliver the message of what they want to talk about, the economy, immigration, you name what it is, but you need them to deliver in kind of a rapid fire, because you don't have much time. Remember, these candidates had a minute to 2 minutes to answer the question, a minute for rebuttal, another minute here. That goes really fast. So your candidate has to remember so many details, not only the headline of, here's what I'll do on the economy, but then the bullet points below. That takes a lot of prep work.
Yeah, break down foreign policy in 2 minutes, go.
Sure.
So I do want to address kind of that elephant, or perhaps the donkey, because it's a Democrat, in the room, with Biden's performance there. I want to play back a portion of last night's debate for you.
Well, first of all, I spent half my career being criticized being the youngest person in politics. I was the second youngest person ever elected to the United States Senate, and now I'm the oldest. This guy's 3 years younger and a lot less competent.
Well, I took two tests, cognitive tests. I aced them, both of them, as you know. We made it public. He took none. I'd like to see him take one, just one, a real easy one.
All right, so as we heard Biden say there, he's kind of bringing up this dichotomy of, well, I'm old, but this other guy next to me is crazy. Does that resonate with voters? Did that shine through last night at all?
Well, I think that's kind of, at that point in the debate, there had been enough going on. There was enough name calling going on. You're the worst president. You were the worst president. That's a bunch of malarkey. They had already started the name calling. So when they got to that part of the debate, that question, are you, with your age, are you competent enough to be president, and what can you tell us? By then it was slinging pretty hard. So, and they even got into that part of where they started to argue about their golf game and who had the lowest handicap and who can carry their golf bag across the course. That was a question that I think they blew it. I mean, you have to talk about how you are going to run the country, how you're going to direct government. There's budget figures, there's foreign leaders, And instead, this was part of this debate where they just kind of went at you and went at each other and kind of poked at it. So that was probably a part of the debate that didn't help anybody.
So what we've heard kind of prevailing, at least initially, reaction to that debate is Democrats perhaps looking to see if there's a replacement for Biden. We haven't had that Democratic nominating convention yet. Do you think that's a realistic possibility? Do you have a sense of like who might step up?
First of all, go back to the flash poll that the host station CNN ran right after that poll of the people who watched the debate. That was a 2/3 Trump victory on that poll. And then all the subsequent numbers of favorable impressions and everything, consistently across the board, President Biden didn't do enough during the debate to raise his level in those polls. So that's where this starts. Now, what happens with those who try to figure out what to do with the president? Do they keep him going on this path on the campaign and just tough it out? Or what's going on last night and today in the chatter class in the Democrat Party is, what do we do? The question is, what will President Biden want to do? He will have to be the one that says, I'm done. He's going to have to come up and step out and say, I'm going to, swing my delegates to whomever at the national convention, or I'm going to open it up, which I can't believe that you'd want that sort of chaos at your convention. But it seems to be split. There's a crowd that thinks maybe they should move on and figure out who to put in his place for the election that can beat Trump. Because clearly now, even though the polls may not change dramatically after this debate, it will shift some people. The real battle is with the independents. So the Democrats will have to figure out, how can we get independents to our candidate? Next is, can they actually perform that, exercising President Biden from the ticket, from the convention, moving everything forward, reestablishing the whole basis for what they're going to present? And then how do you also approach and deal with Vice President Harris? Is she elevated to the top of the ticket, or is she going to stay there and they bring somebody else in? So, but there's lots of gnashing of teeth and consternation going on in terms of the Biden campaign of what to do. The Trump campaign, they go their merry way.
So we're still 2 months from the Democratic National Convention, and we were joking Thursday afternoon, this is a debate just for junkies, right, for people like us. Are voters really tuned in at this point in the campaign? I think that's probably a similar question in that vein.
Most of the people that watch are likely already committed. They've already likely decided on Donald Trump or Joe Biden. But there are a handful of people who I would say come into the decision maker category because they are watching that debate to learn something about a candidate, to see where they are in a position. If this debate did it for them, they will decide, we'll know in a few days, or maybe in a week in terms of how this race all shakes down. But yeah, it's even though there's lots of people who watch, real high viewing numbers, again, there's so many people out there who really didn't even know there was a debate, maybe, haven't made up their mind. The other thing that I think we'll have to watch in the weeks and months to come after this debate and the two national conventions is how excited people are. Where's the enthusiasm? The Marquette University Law School poll had the enthusiasm gap, which is pretty significant. And did this debate do anything to bring those people back and make them excited about the presidential race? Or did it just keep them where they are? Again, I think we'll find that out, but the early reports are, there wasn't much there.
Turning from the donkey in the room to now the actual elephant in the room, former President Trump, kind of the headline from his performance broadly has been just the lies that he said. Some fact checks from the debate essentially showed, both sides had the mistruths that they were peddling, but Trump had essentially 3-1 over Biden on those mistruths. How would you grade his performance overall?
Well, if you are an undecided voter or you're in there and you watch Trump and you hear him say something, you're probably going to take it for granted that what he's telling you is the truth. The fact check didn't come from the moderators or from Biden. The fact checks were coming after the debate, when those people who were maybe watching that had already turned their TV off. Now, you and I watched the post-debate stuff, but a lot of people just said, okay, debate's over, they turned it off and they went home. So they don't know whether what was said was true or false. Again, the Biden campaign will make much ado of it in the coming weeks, and you for sure will see tons of ads out there talking about what Trump said was true or not true. Trump's performance, though, he didn't lose his cool. He didn't really do anything stupid on stage. Both of them went after each other. Trump talked about his positions. 67% of the people that watched that debate said he did a great job.
Now, open question, will there be a second debate after this, do you think?
You know, campaigns make decisions on when to have debates and why. And one of those is clear. If you're in the incumbent or you're in the lead, you generally say, nah, I think we're good. If you're behind, you want that debate opportunity so that you can reach out to voters and talk to them about where you are in the campaign. You need that connection again. And debates do draw people to watch, whether they're undecided or whether they made up their minds, they do draw. The Biden campaign, if they get past this point of will he stay on the ballot and go to the convention, if they get past that, then that's a whole nother set of scenarios to decide whether or not he can actually be on stage for a second debate and whether or not he can get past the stumbles and the mumbles and the blank stares and the kind of lost train of thought. Can he do that 3 months from now after a rigorous campaign? That's a hard decision for the Biden campaign and others to make. But they're going to be under pressure, not from the Donald Trump and Republicans, they're under pressure in their own party to deal with that. So, you know, the Biden campaign will spin this out that the president did a great job. He talked about all the issues. Donald Trump didn't address anything, and we're in good shape. I guess it's a question of whether that's going to stick.
Well, Brandon Scholz, thanks so much for joining us. Really appreciate it.
Thanks very much.